A long time ago, in a small village, lived a poor farmer named Golem Hyder with his wife and their only son, Solomon. They cultivated sugarcane on their small plot of land. Their livelihood depended on boiling the sugarcane juice to make molasses, which they would then sell at the market. It was winter. From morning till evening, the father and son would cut sugarcane in the field and make molasses in the furnace. Golem Hyder was a simple man. He thought his son, Solomon, was still young and didn't understand the tricks of the market. So he always went to the market himself to sell the molasses. One day, Golem Hyder loaded the pots of molasses onto his bullock cart and set off for the market. Upon reaching the market, he began to wait for customers. After a while, a cunning merchant was passing by. His wife had been asking for molasses pudding, so he wanted to buy some. Seeing Golem Hyder, he thought, "This man seems quite foolish." "What are you selling, brother?" the merchant asked. Golem Hyder's face lit up with joy as he said, "Fresh molasses, sir. Made it just today. Pure molasses, and I'll give it to you for a cheap price." A wicked idea sparked in the merchant's mind. He asked, "How much for this entire cart?" Golem Hyder thought it would be wonderful if everything sold at once. With a simple heart, he said, "Give me 500 taka, and it's all yours." The merchant immediately took out the money and said, "Very well, then deliver this molasses to my house." Golem Hyder helped the man onto the cart and headed towards his house. After reaching the house, he said, "Sir, please empty the cart. I have to return." The merchant let out a loud laugh and said, "What cart? I paid 500 taka for the whole cart. Now the cart, the molasses, everything is mine." Golem Hyder was thunderstruck. "What are you saying, sir? I only asked for the price of the molasses." The merchant scolded him. "I asked how much for the entire cart, and you said 500. Are you changing your story now? Get out of my house." He called his servants, who insulted Golem Hyder and pushed him out of the house. Humiliated and ashamed, Golem Hyder hid in the forest all day. Late at night, he returned home barefoot. Seeing his devastated state, his wife and son rushed to him. In a trembling voice, he recounted the entire incident. Hearing of his father's humiliation and helplessness, Salman's blood boiled. He roared, "Father, don't you worry. Tomorrow I will go to the market and settle the score with that merchant for both our cart and your honor." His father, scared, tried to reason with him. "No, son, that man is very cunning and cruel. You won't be able to deal with him." But Salman said firmly, "You just describe the man's face to me. I'll take care of the rest." The next morning, Salman borrowed a bullock cart from a neighbor. He loaded it with molasses and went and stood in the exact same spot at the market. After a while, the arrogant merchant appeared. Seeing Salman, he thought, "Yesterday I fooled the father. Today it's the son's turn. This one looks even more foolish." "Hey boy, what's in the cart?" the merchant asked. Salman replied politely, "Pure molasses, sir. Made it just today. Pure molasses, and I'll give it to you for a cheap price." A wicked idea sparked in the merchant's mind. He asked, "How much for this entire cart?" Salman thought, it would be wonderful if everything sold at once. With a simple heart, he said, "Give me 500 taka, and it's all yours." The merchant immediately took out the money and said, "Very well, then deliver this molasses to my house." Salman quietly took the cart to his house. The merchant took out 10 taka notes from his pocket, made a fist, and extended it towards Salman. "Here is your fistful of payment. Now leave the cart and get lost." Salman said calmly, "Sir, the price was for the molasses. The cart belongs to my father. Please return it to me." The merchant got angry and said, "Trying to be clever again? I'll have you thrown out by the scruff of your neck, just like your father." This time, Salman pulled out a sharp knife from his waistband and grabbed the merchant's hand. "Sepji, I am leaving my cart with you, but in return, I am taking this fist of money of yours." Trembling with fear, the merchant said, "What are you doing? Let go of my hand!" Salman said in a cold voice, "You took my father's entire cart with a fistful of lies, didn't you? Now, this fist is mine." Seeing the fire in Salman's eyes and the sharpness of the knife, the merchant's throat got dry. He screamed for his life, "I beg you, take whatever you want, just let me go." Salman said, "Bring out my father's cart, and from now on, you will have to give me a job at your house for a monthly salary of 2,000 taka. To save his life, the merchant agreed to everything. He brought out Golem Hyder's cart, gave 2,000 taka, and also promised the job. Salman returned to the village with 2 carts. Seeing his son return victorious, Golem Hyder's heart swelled with pride. He ran and hugged his son. The next day, Salman started his job. The merchant thought to himself, "I'll make him work so hard that he'll run away on his own." He gave him difficult tasks, but gave him only a handful of rice and a spoonful of lentils to eat. He ate it without a word. But at night, he couldn't sleep due to hunger. He went to the cow shed and untied the calf. When the calf started drinking its mother's milk, he also drank his fill. From then on, this became his nightly meal. When the merchant went to milk the cow in the morning, he would find the udder completely empty. He was surprised and would think, "How is this boy getting so strong day by day on just a handful of rice?" A few days later, the merchant planned to go to his in-laws' house to bring his wife back. He took Salman with him. There was only one horse, which he rode himself, and told Salman to walk. On the way, the merchant fell asleep while resting under a tree. Salman took this opportunity to sell the horse to a group of traders. Then, he cut off a part of the horse's tail, placed it at the entrance of a mouse hole, and sat in such a way as if he was trying to pull something out of the hole. When the merchant awoke and didn't see the horse, he screamed, "Salman, where's my horse?" Salman said with an innocent face, "Sepji, it was the horse that went into the mouse hole. I've managed to hold onto its tail with great difficulty. Please lend a hand. Let's pull it out." The merchant angrily pulled the tail, and it came off in his hand. He was dumbfounded, but couldn't say anything against Salman's logic. Forced, they continued on foot. At another market on the way, the merchant bought a black horse. This time, he was more cautious. During a break, he told Salman, "Give the horse a good scrub and bath so that all the dirt comes off." Salman sold that horse and came back with a snow-white rabbit. The merchant awoke and said, "My horse!" Salman said simply, "Sepji, you were the one who told me to scrub and clean it well. I scrubbed it so much that the horse's black color came off and it became completely white. And with all the scrubbing, it got smaller and turned into this rabbit." The merchant gnashed his teeth in anger, but he had to admit defeat once again. Finally, they reached the in-laws' house. Salman went ahead and gave the news, "Your son-in-law is not well. He has a very upset stomach, so he will only eat khichdi." And for himself, he arranged for kheer, puri, and halwa. At night, Salman ate lavishly, while the merchant remained hungry, having only khichdi. Late at night, tossing and turning from hunger, Salman woke up merchant and said, "I can't take it anymore. Arrange for some food." Salman devised a plan. There was an old hole in the roof that led down to the kitchen. He tied a rope around the merchant's waist and lowered him down. "When you've eaten your fill, pull on the rope and I'll pull you up." The merchant jumped on the food as soon as he got down. After eating, he pulled on the rope, but Salman pretended to be sleeping and started snoring. Meanwhile, dangling from the rope, the merchant was starting to suffocate. He began to whisper, "Shake! Shake!" His father-in-law and mother-in-law heard strange noises from the kitchen and thought a ghost had entered. They gathered the neighbors. Hearing the commotion, Salman quickly pulled the merchant up to the roof. Everyone opened the door and saw the kitchen was empty. In the morning, it was time for the merchant to leave, did in shame and humiliation. On the way home, Solomon said calmly, "Seth-ji, everything that has happened to you was my plan. It was revenge for my father's humiliation." Hearing this, the merchant's feet felt rooted to the ground. Tears came to his eyes. He fell at Solomon's feet and said, "Forgive me, son. I have realized my mistake." Solomon said, "Promise that you will never again cheat any poor, helpless person." The merchant cried and made the promise. He repented for his injustice and learned a great lesson in life. Moral: harming others ultimately leads to one's own harm. Any injustice can be countered with intelligence and courage.